This year has been one hell of a year with the global coronavirus pandemic. Now, many of us found ways to move forward, whereas many are still struggling almost a year later. Now, we all have different strengths, mindset, resilient skills within us that can either help us move forward or can hinder us. Now, as we move into a new year, 2021, I would like to share a resilience plan with you. I shared a similar sort of tips and tools around building resilience at the beginning of the pandemic to support people going through this difficult time. But I think that now is a great time to reshare and to really take on board our vision for 2021 and the resilience that will be needed in order to move forward. So this week's Weekly Insight is all about having the resilience plan for 2021. Now, if you find any of this useful, please do share, subscribe and like. But most of all, I would love to know, how you get on with my videos and what positive changes it is making within your life. Now, the key here is that we all have different levels of resilience. But the great thing is that we can find it, or we can always build and create better resilience that will serve us positively. Now, mental health is far more than just the mere absence of disorders. There are a number of dimensions when it comes to positive mental health. One of them, which is resilience. So how do people overcome challenging life events and experiences like the death of loved ones, losing a job, becoming redundant, or being diagnosed with a serious illness? Now, before I share this exercise with you in how to go about building resilience or having that resilience plan, I want to just talk to you briefly about what is resilience. Now, most people react to circumstances with a surge of negative effect and a sense of uneasiness. Yet over time, they somehow adjust and adapt. People are able to bounce back from adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress because of their inherent resilience, the process of capacity for or the outcome of a successful adaptation despite the challenging circumstances. Now, according to something I read recently, resilience is associated with the strength, competence, optimism and flexibility, and the ability to cope effectively when faced with adversity and minimizing the impact of risk factors, such as a stressful life event, enhancing the positive factors such as optimism, social support and active coping. And this increases the ability to deal with life challenges. Now, resilience is not a trait that people either have or do not have. It involves your behaviours, your thoughts and your actions that can be learned and developed in anyone. Now, one way to develop resilience is to draw on one's learning from similar challenges in the past, to remember what he or she already knows or did, but may have forgotten. What was it exactly that enabled a person to get through a period of illness, a difficult situation like divorce or being laid off work? So asking those questions, well, that is which supports on the call and what strategies they used and what solutions did they find? So that's about going back to the past. These resilient resources are tools to help people unpack their personal resources for resilience by giving them a framework to bring out what specifically works best for them. Now, this tool of the resilience plan was created by Dr. Lucinda Paul and Dr. Hugo Albert. Based on the goal of this tool is to help clients devise a personal resilience plan based on their existing resources. That is what has helped them to bounce back from the difficulties in the past. So they call the resilience plan as the 4 S's. Resilience is the ability to cope with whatever life throws at you and bounce back stronger and more steadfast than before. So resilience people work through life challenges using personal resources, including social support, coping strategies, which is the wisdom and the insight that, each of us hold on to, and we are solution-seeking people. So what's important here to remember is resilience is also about ensuring that your mental health and well-being is at the top of this pyramid. Being resilient doesn't mean that you just keep going on and on to the detriment of your mental health and well-being. Resilience and being resilient is about finding alternative solutions, paths, directions, and resources to help you move forward. So the exercise that I'm going to share with you will help you draw on your resilience resources to build a personal resilience plan, which you can use to help combat any future challenges. And right now, it's the perfect time to be thinking about this. So there are 3 parts to this exercise. Part 1 is about your past sources of resilience. So step 1 is recall a recent example of resilience. So think about a time recently when you overcame a challenge or a setback in your life. Perhaps you injured yourself, or you received some negative feedback from work. Perhaps you had an argument with a friend or a family member. So describe these difficulties. Step 2 is to identify support people. So what supportive people in your life kept you standing when it would have been easier to fall down? So for instance, it could be, did you call on a friend or a family member or ask a work colleague for advice? Or perhaps your parents or grandparents might have given, you had a little discussion with them. So write these down. So who did you call for support, right? And you begin to see sort of a pattern happening. Then what I'd like you to do is identify strategies. So what strategies did you use to help you cope with the negative thoughts and feelings and maybe behaviours and actions that showed up in response to that difficulty? So for example, did you meditate or write a gratitude journal? Did you go for a nice long walk in the woodlands or the park? Or listen to your favourite song or a particular type of music? Did you go for a massage to release that tension? So again, write down the strategies that you used to help you get through this challenge. So number 4 is to identify sagacity. So what is sagacity? It's what helps you bounce back from difficulty. So the wisdom and the insight that you hold on to. Now this, it can come from song lyrics, it can come from novels, poetry, spiritual writings, quotes from famous people, things that your parents might have said to you, one's own experience. And again, write this down. So by writing these down, it becomes clearer and you see that pattern happening. Step 5 is identify the solution-seeking behaviours. So what seeking behaviours did you display to help you actively deal with the problem? For example, did you problem solve or seek out a new information or a plan? Or did you plan ahead or negotiate or speak to someone or voice your own opinion? So again, write down the solution-seeking behaviours that you displayed. Moving on to the second part, which is the resilience plan. So this will be your step 6. Describe a current difficulty, okay? Write it down. Describe the current difficulty of the challenge that you are facing. Step 7 will be then apply the resilience plan to the current difficulty that you're having, given the social support, strategies, solution seeking, behaviours, all those things that might have helped you in the past. Then look at how you could use the same or similar resources to help you bounce back from this current difficulty that you are facing. So you're starting to identify things from the previous step to help you now. Then read through that completed plan and write down skills, support, strategies, sagacity that could work again for you. This becomes the resilience plan. Now you need to allow some flexibility here in the sense that the same type of social support and strategies and solution-seeking behaviours could be tweaked according to your current situation. So for instance, going to speak to your line manager rather than a parent for support in the face of work-related problems. So looking for alternative solutions. Now an example could also be, instead of speaking to a friend, you might speak to a work colleague. So let's move on to step 8, which is carry out your resilience plan. So the next step is to put the plan into action. And that is what's really important here. To do this, consider the order in which you use the different support strategies and solution-seeking behaviours. Which resources is most feasible to start with? So start to prioritise. Often the most feasible resources are the smallest step that you can take, such as calling up your partner or work colleague. Now on your resilience plan, you need to start using the first resources that you will use. So start highlighting things, okay? And then continue to number them with different resources in order for them to be more feasible for you. And then go ahead and put a date and time to take action on that first step. And then slowly continue to work through your resilience plan until you have overcome that difficulty. Once you have come through the other side, you then start to move on to the next step, which is part 3, the evaluation. So step 9, the evaluation is about evaluate your resilience plan. Discuss questions such as, how was it for you to carry out your resilience plan? Did it help you bounce back from the difficulty? What resources or specific skills or support strategies were most helpful for you, but why? What resources, specific skills and support strategies again, were least helpful to you? And also note down why. Did you not use any of the resources? And if you didn't, why didn't you use those resources? And is there anything you would like to add to your resilience plan that you may have not done? Also, in what other areas of your life could you use your resilience plan? How might this improve for you? Now, before I go, if you found this resilience exercise useful, please do share, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that also you can keep up to date with recent videos of tools and strategies that I post about mental health and well-being and self-development. And if you would like to find out more or even work with me in more depth, why not book a free consultation with me at calendly.com/Zeenat Noorani, and let's have a chat, let's talk. Now, to round off, summarising this week's weekly insight of mental health and well-being, I want to end with the main factors contributing to resilience. There are many ways to increase resilience, okay? So this is just one tool I've given you. Some of those include a good support system, maintaining positive relationships and having good self-image and having a positive attitude. Other factors that contribute to resilience may include having the capacity to make realistic plans, being able to carry out those plans, being able to effectively manage your feelings, impulses in a healthy manner, reflection, evaluation. Also having good communication skills, having confidence in your strengths and abilities, having good problem-solving skills, so develop them to help you. Developing resiliently can help you maintain a caring relationship with others and help you maintain a positive and easygoing disposition. Now, it can also help you develop good coping skills and improve your cognitive thinking skills. Those who develop resilience tend to cope much better with life than those who aren't resilient or don't quite have those skills, and maybe even happier. Now, some people are naturally more resilient than others. However, you can work on to enhance the level of your resilience. You can learn how to bounce back from adversity in a healthy manner. In the end, resilience is a skill that can be cultivated and nurtured.